When we talk about UFOs, we refer to the observation of a floating object whose origins are a mystery. Although investigations are carried out on the event, it's impossible to identify them amongst anything known. All kinds of theories have been made around these events. Some speak of beings from other worlds, others from spy ships from other governments. The truth is that this happens daily, and hundreds of people feel watched by space beings. Today, we'll talk about 5 real UFO videos that will leave you speechless. Before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. The Black Whale. Since man acquired the ability to imagine things, one of his first dreams was to be able to fly. However, this goal could be fulfilled many years later thanks to engineering and aeronautics. Airplanes today have become one of the most popular and conventional methods of transportation all over the world. If you want to make a long trip or if you want to get somewhere very quickly, you'll most likely choose to do it by air. Another reason to choose this is the safety these machines provide us with. The number of air accidents is minimal compared with land or sea accidents. Undoubtedly, airplanes are the most used means of transportation. But have you ever wondered how high they fly, or at what speed they do it? The flight altitude of a commercial airplane is usually 12,800 meters, with a cruise speed between 550 and 580 kilometers per hour. Having this information in mind, we'll analyze the following material. The video was published on the web in January of this year. While on a flight from Busan to Seoul in South Korea, a passenger managed to film a flying object that hasn't been identified yet. The internet community has called it the Black Whale of Korea, either because of its color or because of the way it appears between the skies. As you can see in the image, there is a dark figure that swims among the clouds. It has no apparent direction, it just hangs in the air and seems to move from one side to the other in the same way the tail of a fish would do it. It could also be said that it has the shape of a petal, but we're not sure if this will be the whole body of the ship or just a part of it, since most of the body could be hiding behind the clouds. After all, just as the height of the plane is traveling is exactly the point where there are no clouds. There's still mystery surrounding this figure. Could it really be a UFO, or would it be something different? Is it an extraterrestrial contact or a spy ship? What do you think? Number 4. UFO on the runway. Continuing with the sightings captured from a window, we bring you the following video. Everything happened during the day when the plane was preparing to take off from a New Jersey airport. The strange ship approached without any apparent intention. Its shape was very different from what we're used to seeing. There were 4 or 5 giant spheres that were joined together by a larger one. The central area was transparent, while the surrounding areas were of a translucent silver color. As you can see, the day was very cloudy. A strong storm was coming. This seems very strange to us, given that when the weather isn't good enough for the takeoff, the flights are usually canceled. However, the pilot of this plane seems to ignore this problem. I mean, was taking off so important to the airport that they would do it anyway? As the video continues, you can see how the alien ship accompanies the cameraman. The object is suspended in the air and it's moving with tranquility. On both sides of the plane, it seems that everything is calmed. No one loses their sanity, much less do they panic. That's when the UFO makes a strange move. It goes from its horizontal position to a vertical position and back again to horizontal. This time, the part that was upwards ends up looking towards the ground, but it doesn't stay motionless. It keeps moving diagonally from one side to the other, fully showing the deformity of its silver spheres. The video doesn't seem to make much sense. If you play it on repeat, you realize nothing happens there. A ship that has arrived from a place we don't know appears at an airport with no reason. Its translucent form surely went unnoticed by many people. Probably the employees of the airport never noticed the visitor they had. However, for the person behind the camera, it was an unforgettable moment, as it is very strange to see a UFO. And it's even more strange to capture it in a video with such high quality. What do you think? What do you think would be the reason why that spacecraft was in an airport? A place where there are usually many people and millions of cameras. Did it break down? Was it searching for a cleared field to take off again? Maybe we'll never know their intentions. Maybe we should just settle for knowing we're not alone in this universe and that it's continually expanding. Number 3. UFO captured in the 50s. In the 3rd position, there's a video that reminds us of the sightings of the late 40s. As if it were taken from a video game, we have a documentary in black and white. Captured from an armed force plane, a flying saucer flies over a small airstrip. The small alien ship crosses at great speeds from one side to another, perhaps fleeing from the camera, recording its presence. We're not sure where it's going or if it's looking for something in the area, but you shouldn't be surprised to know that the UFO might be really fleeing from the missiles that could be sent by the Earth's ship. Perhaps at any moment, they could launch a missile that bombards the aliens and ends their life and any physical record of their invasion. The moment that causes the greatest amazement is when it goes from its dark appearance to a translucent one. Probably its advanced technology allows it to reflect in itself the colors of the environment, something very similar to a chameleon. We know that it's there because we can see at times a strange, shapeless mass that moves through the air. However, its invisibility effect doesn't last long and becomes visible once again. The plane pursues the UFO to the bay. Here, it watches over the sea. Analyze their movements in the same way that aliens are studying the qualities of our planet from their ship. It's interesting to see how the ship reflects on the water and creates a mirror effect, as if there were two instead of one. We would have liked if the images had a better quality to detail with more precision the shape of the ship or the place where it is. Maybe this way we could have understood what they really wanted. Maybe they were walking around on our planet, or would they be on a scientific excursion? Number 2. Aerial submarine. California is one of the 50 states in the United States of America. It's also one of the places with the largest population in the country and one of the main areas of extraterrestrial sightings. The video we'll show you next proves it. They weren't recorded by the same person or from the same area. On the contrary, they're material collected by several citizens of Los Angeles. At first glance, it looks like a comet that is about to hit the Earth. It flashes a violet light that becomes more intense and larger as its trajectory advances. The second video we managed to find of what happened has a more distant vision of the UFO. From this perspective, the flashing light is white. We're sure it's not a comet or a meteorite by the shape of its tail. In the image, you can compare the light it reflects to the light of a giant light bulb. In addition, its movement is very fast and constant, so the person filming it from a car must speed up the car to keep track of it. The third material we have obtained looks like a mixture of the first two. The light of the UFO makes the same movements of the first video, but its light is still white and the distance from which it's captured makes it look like a small point in the dark sky. However, our favorite is the fourth video. Here, we fully observe the shape of the ship. Its body is cylindrical and elongated, very similar to that of a submarine. As you can see, it has a long fish tail. It even looks like a spaceship that appeared in China a few years ago and had the shape of a drop. Undoubtedly, a wonderful night view. We would have loved to be there that night for such a show. Do you think that the US government tried to make contact with the alien ship? Or perhaps what we saw was part of a flight test of an airplane in this country? The doubts grow bigger as we think about what happened. Maybe the best thing is to enjoy the video and not to question what really happened. We could end up being disappointed by reality. Number 1. UFO in New York. In our first position, we have a video with a violent start. A boy runs hurriedly through the streets of New York. He needs to get to the corner along with other children who watch the skies. The cameraman is very agitated, moves his hand from one side to another because of the nerves. You may get a little dizzy when you see the images. Once he is stopped, the boy points to the sky to capture just in time what appears to be 3 UFOs running through the air. There are 3 flashes of light that move from one place to another. If this had happened at night, surely it would have gone unnoticed. Anyone would think they're shooting stars and not spaceships, but during the day, it's impossible for such a confusion to occur. Then, 2 flashes of light follow the previous 3, and it makes us wonder, will there be an intergalactic confrontation? Are these aliens doing a space race through the skies of Earth? Everyone on the street watches the event in astonishment. We at home are also amazed at what we see. You can understand how complicated it is to look up at the sky when the day is very sunny, but seeing flying saucers could be worth going blind, even more if you manage to capture them in an image or a video. A last ship appears in the heavens next to a pair of birds. This size comparison between the living being and the object helps us to have a perspective on the proportion. The bird that is a few meters from the ground looks huge and splendid, while the UFO that is thousands of kilometers from the ground looks like a small white light. However, it's still visible to the eye, which means it really has a huge size. But the biggest one is the last one to appear, the one we assume is the main ship. It's going at a lower speed. It moves a few meters but reaches a point where it stops and only stays suspended in the air. The smaller ones pass by it at full speed and they look like small objects right next to it. The larger ship gets tired of being the center of attention and leaves our lives, remaining a simple memory. It looks strange to us to see so many UFOs in the sky for so long. This type of event doesn't usually occur. Usually, they're fleeting sightings that can hardly be captured in images. Alright, Top 5ers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited TheFinestPost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read? If not,